call.
Larry Fidler,
Here.
Greg J,
Here.
Gary Bennington,
Here?
Cindy Holland,
Here.
Rick Deerwester.
Any additions or deletions to the agenda? I'll look for a motion.
So move.
So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? New business. Insurance policy, Andrea O'Hare.
It's pouring. Glad I brought my raincoat in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does, doesn't it? All right, well, I will make this as quick as possible. I know you guys have probably seen me enough here the past couple of months. A really quick recap. So we decided at the first meeting that financially it made more sense to probably stick with the Medova plan, to go to Anthem or United, which is still kind of the gold standard health carrier, was gonna be at best a 43% rate increase. That's something that, without any notice, probably not something the town wanted to take on in their budget with good reason. So, as you recall, we had mentioned that, you know, at kind of the last minute, we had found out that Medova had some issues going on. At the time, it was still early. We didn't want to speculate. And frankly, we anticipated we would probably have a little bit of time to continue to research other options that may be a little bit better than making that jump to United or Anthem. As Mr. Shagley, as I recall in that meeting, he even said, well, we're probably okay, or their legal would step in and say, hey, we can't do this. Well, that was a little bit of foreshadowing. It was about a week and a half probably after that meeting, we get this notice and we get our hands on a document that was getting ready to be sent out to all Medova clients, and essentially the government stepped in and started administering their claims for them. So a bad situation went from bad to worse. And as Noah told us at that first meeting, if you guys would not have already been with Medova and you were with another carrier, and we had Medova as an option and then two others, I think his words were he would have, you know, lit the Medova proposal on fire and not taken that risk. But given the situation, we were going to try to ride it out to make it better for the town and kind of transition. So, as of 7/1, I've got to be careful what I say, so don't quote me, well, please don't quote me on this, but Medova is quickly being pushed out. I will say that at this time, and we hear 7/1 might be the end. So they have been taken over. The government is at this time administering the claims. They've got a lot of issues, so took it off the table. Not an option. So thankfully, our team used our size a little bit and went to the market. Of all the groups that we insure, I believe we only had 5 or 6 Medova groups in our book of business. We reached out, took those groups, looked under every rock, and I kind of prepped Kelly for the worst, and you know, I told her, hey, our worst case scenario is we have to go to Anthem, which was a 43% increase. So that was our worst case scenario. Now, had we had to have done that, coverages, it would have been okay, but you know, that 43% increase is no good. Okay, that's where we're at. Long story short, it was already a long story. BPA has stepped up and essentially taken the Medova book and have mapped it over to match coverages as best as possible. There are very small differences in here, and there's a minimal price difference. So we were looking at, if we canceled the Medova plan and went to Anthem 43% rate increase, that's extremely high. However, 10 to 20% this year with health insurance isn't that abnormal either. we are mapping this over to BPA for about an 8% increase over last year, which is, nobody wants an increase of any kind, but that's pretty good, even in the best of circumstances. So the other issue, I'd said coverages would be good with Anthem. So they've got a great network. You're not gonna have a problem with doctors who you can use. You're not gonna have a problem with claim service. The Anthem plan that was a 43% increase was drastically increasing deductibles for the employees, which is never a good thing. I mean, I think employees to some extent have come to expect it over time, but you don't wanna go from a $3,000 deductible to a $6,000 deductible in 1 year. We don't wanna do that. So, the very last page of what I handed out to you, it looks like this, is a comparison of last year's Medova plan to the new BPA plan. As you will see, the main coverages are very, very, very similar. Your calendar, your deductible, that's kind of the first thing everybody looks at. Same, 3,000, 6,000. So that's 3,000 individuals, 6,000 per family. $30 copay for a primary care, with the old Medova plan, well, now it's a $5 copay. Your out-of-pocket maximums, they have went up. Hopefully those don't come into play. Very seldom do they come into play. I didn't mean to skip over that. That is one change that would be, I guess, negative. Going down the primary copay, like I said, the old plan 30, now it's 5. Go to a specialist, the Medova plan was 50, BPA's down to 40. Preventative care paid 100% from day one. That's an ACA rule now. Hospitalization is the same, 0% after deductible. Emergency room, we've got higher deductible. We're gonna have to pay $250 under we did have to pay $250 under the Medova plan. Now we have to pay $1,000. You know, we discourage people from going to the emergency room now unless it's a true emergency anyway, and we utilize, you know, prompt care a lot more. So if you have a true emergency and go to the emergency room, probably that $1,000 is gonna be the least of your concerns at that point. So again, it's a change, but not a huge change. Urgent care, $50 copay, the same. Retail, the prescription drugs, they're all a little bit higher than the Medova plan, but I mean, we're going from $1 to $15, you know, not a, I know every dollar matters, but in my estimation, that's not a, you know, drastic change for anyone. So, then down at the bottom is just the premium comparisons. So, again, up a little from last year, but nowhere near where we thought a week and a half ago it might be when we found out that Medova was getting shut down. So, big question is network. What doctors? Is it gonna affect the doctors that our employees can go to? That's always my number one concern. This is the Cigna network. They're one of the 3 national networks. Every network is gonna have slight differences because it's doctor to doctor. You're never gonna have an exact match. I will tell you that I would be shocked in this area where we live in the surrounding counties if a doctor in the Medova network was not included in the Cigna network. Now, I can't come in here and say 100% of the doctors are covered because they change every day. Doctors in their offices can make a decision tomorrow to withdraw from a certain network, but Cigna is one of the top 3 national networks, and you know, if I thought that was gonna be a problem, I'd be saying, no, don't do that. Just bite the bullet and let's go with Anthem, so we don't know. Very confident in the Cigna network. So, I will tell you that it's been chaotic, to say the least. It's nothing that any of us could have control or foreseen. I told Kelly my biggest concern was that we come in and it looks like we recommended that we go with a carrier that just, you know, went under, and, you know, that was a concern. But as Noah said in that last meeting, had you guys not already been there and we weren't looking at a 43% increase, we probably wouldn't have done that anyway. We just didn't expect it to get, it escalated quickly, so to speak. We didn't expect it to go that quick. BPA, they're doing this simply because of what Medova's going through. I mean, they're coming in, they see an opportunity, there's a, you know, large book of business we can roll over. They did everything they could to match it. So that's where we're at. BPA is the company, the Cigna network. you know, anytime there's a last second change like that, I know in your seat, it's probably like, man, this stinks, but honestly, we're relieved when we got this in compared to where we thought we were gonna be. It was a sigh when this came in of relief, so, as I told Kelly before the meeting started, next year, there's a chance we'll go back to United, we'll go back to Anthem and try to go with one of the gold standard carriers. But regardless of what we do next year, this will have been taken care of 30 days prior to now. I hate these last second things. I told Kelly, I think back in April, I would have liked to have had this wrapped up in May, just so I'm not pushing her on paperwork and everything, so. We've got confirmed, we're good with 7-1 on this. We've already met with your employees on Guardian. We were down last week, we spent a morning getting them enrolled in the Guardian products. We would like to be back down here next week and have a meeting with the employees to go through the health insurance. At this point, they will not have paper copies of their ID cards by 7-1, but they will have a plan number. If they have to go to the doctor while we're waiting to get those, they'll give them their last four of their social and the plan number. They'll be able to use it effective 7-1. But it will take 2 to 3 weeks to get everything in. But we want to assure them they will have everything they need should they have to go to the doctor July 1st.
They will have coverage after the first, then.
Correct. They will not. Well, so we do not control the Medova. So we sent the agent of record letter to Medova for us to be recognized the agent on that plan. Because of what they were going through, they never got it processed on their end. So we have no control over that old plan. It is our understanding, and I have to be so careful with what I say because some of the things we know have not been publicly released yet. It's our understanding that we cannot count on that Medova plan renewing July 1st.
Not what?
Not being enforced July 1st. It's our understanding, but we have no way to confirm that for sure because they never got the paperwork done to get us processed over as the agent. So regardless of that, we do have a figure and it is a lot of money in unpaid claims that have not been paid in the last 60 days. So you don't want it to be in effect July 1st because should something happen to one of your employees, there is absolutely no guarantee and a high probability it will not be paid anyway. So it's a bad situation that they're in. So, but I do feel, I know some of this, it seemed a little doom and gloom, but it truly is a good solution that I would not have expected here a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. So, but I can't thank Carrie and in my office and Noah and Kelly enough because they've had to do a lot of paperwork to make this happen. So it's been a good team effort. So.
Sure. Any questions from the panel?
Pretty limited on what options we have. I think this the best option is just move forward with it and be done. Keep our employees covered.
Does the employees that are here have anything to say? Any questions? Kelly?
I don't. I think, honestly, feel like the situation with Medova is the best that we've got right now. And
We have to do something.
Medova didn't even send us a bill this month or next time, which had me very concerned that we were going to actually have coverage anyways if we went with them. I do have 2 ideas that I just want to throw out. Not that we need not to discuss tonight. I'm just going to throw those out there and probably bring them up at the next meeting, but just for you guys. Because this increase, and I know we have an increase no matter what, and this is actually less of an increase even with Medova, but we're mid-year, and I hate to increase premiums on the employees halfway through the year when they weren't expecting it. Rebecca and I have looked over the budget, and we have some cushion in there because of the uncertainty with what we were doing with the town manager. We had built some cushion into the budget, and I'm just gonna throw out the idea and propose that the town pick up the increase on the premiums.
So keep the employee
Keep the employees
rates the
paying
same
exactly what they
for the
are
year.
till the end of the year, and I'll send them out a letter immediately telling them that there's gonna be an increase starting January 1st. But that gives them a little time to prepare, and then my thought is hopefully at the end of the year, we can give them some type of a raise
Kelly, that was a good point I should have mentioned to you. That 8% increase is actually 8% over what was paid last year. We got our hands on the Medova renewal a couple of weeks ago. And actually, it looked like they had sent that quote initially to whoever in April. This is actually less than what the Medova renewal was going to be, so,
The Medova was going up 10.2%.
yeah.
And this is only
Yeah.
8.1, but it's still better, but anyways, that's just an idea that I was gonna throw out to help counter some of the impact on the employees.
Well, all they have to do is be admitted, and deductible for emergency room is waived.
Yeah.
Just bag the hospital to keep you.
Well, it discourages people to go if they don't really need to go, too.
So we want to take a vote on this tonight?
Yes.
We have to vote on this tonight.
And looking for a motion.
I motion we can move forward with it.
Second?
Any more discussion? All in favor of accepting the policy?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next would be the, thank you. Water pump and motor.
I'll turn this over to our water superintendent.
Go on up there.
He's got the next two agenda items.
Is your phone, Andrew?
You might want that. Oh, it's not his.
Oh, maybe mine. Is it yours? Probably, yeah, I'll get it in a minute.
I'll get it if anybody cares. Good afternoon. You guys have got papers, we have a well one cleaned, and when they pulled the pump and motor, the pump was rusted out, so the pump needs to be changed, and the motor was still running, but I would recommend changing them both while we have it out. And
I was reading over some of the material that they sent me, that, have to pull the motor and the pump out to,
to clean the well.
and we mentioned something about the second pump. Is it,
We're gonna do another well. Now, what it looks like, we haven't pulled it out yet to see. Well, they're gonna do a second well, number 4, but we haven't pulled it out to see. I can't say what condition it's in right now.
I was thinking, well, we had to clean there and everything,
Oh, well,
to pull the second one. and see
they
if
will.
it's-
They'll pull it and clean it just like they did this one. We agreed to do 2.
Okay.
Is that
And then-
pump as old as this pump?
21 years, when they changed over.
Yeah.
So, what was the approximate cost for pulling both of them?
Well, it's just, we just got a price to replace one now, and it's $4,187.
Could be around 8,000 then.
Well, we'll see about the other one when we get to it. Yeah, if that's the case,
Yeah,
yes.
we had the first one, is we're doing the second one.
We're doing the first one now because it's out. It's already out of the ground. They've cleaned the well. They're ready to put it back in once we decide to do it.
We
And
actually
then-
need to fix that one so that we have a backup well,
And
right?
then they can move on over to number 4, and then they'll pull it and see what the
How deep
condition
are
of
the
it is.
wells?
What's that?
How deep are the wells?
70 feet.
Is that all?
Mhm.
Any more questions or discussion?
Was this, would this fall under some of that we were discussing at last meeting about getting some rebates?
Oh, for the electric rebates?
Possibly, yeah, I could definitely
So,
let
you know,
her know.
since they're gonna, the new pump is gonna be much more efficient than the pump that was 21 years old. So that might be something to offset some of that cost.
I'll definitely let them know.
But it is something we need to move on quickly.
Yes. Well, I think the pump is out and up on the ground now, so it's a choice of rebuilding or replacing.
Yeah, the pump itself is rusted out. The motor was still running, but
But the pump head itself is bad.
yeah, it has to be replaced.
You won't know how the motor is till you get it out, right?
And it was,
It's out on the
It's
ground.
out.
the pump was $2,100, and the motor's about 2,000. So,
And that pump's been running for 21 years.
it's been in the ground, yeah,
It's
on and
time to
off,
be-
running
Time
21.
to be updated.
Yeah, I don't think we want to put it back in the ground and then
Right.
work, and then they come all the way back out and the charge to pull it back out.
We should take better care of it.
Yeah,
Him and his trained monkey haven't been down there to lubricate it. Well, I make a motion that we go ahead and replace the pump.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Water tower vent.
okay, we had the guy, Klaus inspection, he cleaned and inspected the tower. He's done all that now. And the vent that is on the top, that lets air in and out when the water goes up and down, it is, it's actually the improper vent. I think you got some pictures there in your, did they get the pictures?
Yeah.
The one that's on there now, has actually got the wrong size of screen on it. And,
I don't have that one.
It's on your tablet.
There you go.
Oh,
It's what we have, and this is what we need.
yeah,
It's actually a bigger vent than,
sits up higher and it's got,
the screen's actually covered.
It's got
Yeah.
the cap over the screen.
Yeah.
The hood over the screens.
so no snow or nothing could ever,
get in it.
that could be pretty tragic if that, vent got plugged up. And thankfully not seen it, but I've seen pictures and videos with them. I mean, it'll actually suck it in.
Sucks no in, or,
Sucks the tin in, I mean, just stuck
Collapses it.
the tank, yeah.
What's that cost on that?
Oh, I don't have that, 70, maybe I do. No, this is just the pictures. They give us 7,300. Is that right, Jason? Because he's already got his stuff up there, he's leaving it up there till we decide, because he's got a little cart that he rides up with.
7,300.
And, he's going to see if we decide to do this, then he'll get it, I believe Phoenix Tank already has it, and he can just pick it up and put it on there. I would recommend doing it. I don't want to be the one, not do it and something happen to a million-gallon tank, so, or $1 million tank.
Yeah.
The inspection that we had done a couple of years ago from Pittsburgh Tank, they said the same thing. They had a write-up in there too about the screen and the vent.
When was the tank painted inside and out?
2010, 2011. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we may be getting ready to do that again, it sounds like, with his inspection. He's not got the report done, but he got me these pictures so we could have them for tonight, but he's doing the report. So there's a few rust spots on the outside, which is not really bad, and he's going to paint those up. But we didn't drain the inside or nothing, so we'll see what his report says.
he
I'm
cambered.
sure he's got some, he dropped a robot in there, and he had his daughter helping him, and I don't think he was satisfied with the way she operated it. I think it's the first time they're doing this, they just got this robot thing. But they did say when they got to the bottom, it was murky, so they're stirring stuff up, so. It was 10, 11 years old when we done it, now it's 10, 11 more years, so. I think we'll be looking for that in the next year or two.
I want to make a motion, getting an event.
Kelly, are you pulling that money out of,
It's looking at the water depreciation.
Right.
And there's sufficient funds in there
okay.
to cover all this stuff.
I'll make a motion that we replace the vent.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, truck repair.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Richard.
This was not in what Kelly sent you because we didn't get the estimate until late in the day today. But I did want to bring it to your attention, and I did also give you an estimate. When we had a little accident, Bucky backed the new truck into a post. we're looking at $3,397.30 worth of damage. And there's a picture that I left on the table for you to see. I have not turned, I do have a police report, I have all the accident report and everything. I have not turned that into insurance yet.
Bumper wrapped around the post there.
Yeah, there's just we did not include there's a couple little marks on the bump, or on the tailgate, that probably aren't worth repairing. I mean, it's very, very minor. So the $3,397.30 is to repair everything with the exception of the bumper. I can turn this into insurance if you want me to do that.
Let's try that first.
I know that we'll have a deductible on that, and then I'm sure we'll have, I'm just hoping to,
The deductible's $500.
okay. So we're looking at 500 less. But before I turned it in, I wanted to make sure you guys were okay with going that route. If you'd have stayed around, I'd have just given it to him tonight, but that's all I have. I will turn that into insurance, but I wanted you to be aware of that.
Till Brad will go send him to
Monon Avenue Water Dam.
driving school.
Oh, this is Bucky.
Oh,
Did I
Bucky.
say Bradley? Did I say Brad?
I thought it said Bradley.
Oh, it was Bucky that did it.
Oh, okay.
There was no damage to the post. It was to the truck, huh? And it's the new truck, and I really hate that. Yeah, exactly.
Always.
56 in Monon. We had a water leak over on Monon in a yard. After the repair was done, we opened a hydrant and I went over and looked at this as well. It appeared that the water from the hydrant, when they were flushing it, was going down a valley. It looked pretty clear to me where it was going. It wasn't going to affect anyone. Well, it ran off into a neighbor's house and flooded their basement. Also moved their pool. They have an above-ground pool. They complained that there was damage to their hot water heater. I think I let most of you guys, I think I sent an email to you about this, so you're pretty
Right.
familiar with it. I told them to give me a price on what a water heater would be. The price of that was $419 plus the $29.33 that they would have paid in tax, for a total of $448.33. I included my text. That was text off of my phone just so there was verification that there was no damage to the pool. They were gonna have to refill the pool and move the pool. And obviously, they're gonna have to drain that to do that. I said we would not charge for the water. And if they use sewer from that,
How are they gonna move the pool?
well, they're gonna have to drain it.
Uh-huh.
It's above ground. It's one of those smaller pools. I'm guessing it's probably 4,000 gallons, 6,000 gallons, something like that. Yeah, well, it should go the other direction. But it was our fault. But I did keep a copy so that she did acknowledge that the only thing that she was concerned about was the water heater and that there was no damage to the pool. So that's why I kept that text.
It's such a small amount, I would suggest we pay it, but on the condition she gives us a release.
Yeah, I mean, we can, I mean, I'm sure we can get something like that. I mean, that's kind of why I kept the text, just so I had verification that she was saying that it was only the water heater and the pool did not sustain damage. And I could put something in the release about it. We won't charge the water or sewer for that. But really, the only expense that we have is the $448.33, if you so choose to do that.
I motion we pay it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.